rapper inquisition.
What up? Secret Society production.
When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all.
Rock rappers frontin'.
When I listen to 93.5 radio, I notice how many rappers in TO have no flow. Talking about guns, I know they don't got, and if they do got, cops kick thugs' ass, but no one gets shot. Violating law enforcement oaths is treason. You might think not, but that's the best offense and reason. When they come at you for attempted murder and charges like obstructing peace officer you never heard of. Raps about drugs and the money they state they make, but still living in housing. You blood clot fake, cutting up crack with no gloves, but crushing your weed. Gets crack crumbs, dust from fingers now in your weed. Getting high off your own product, breaking crack commandments. Calling baby moms cussing after bashments. 3 or 4 a.m., can't remember cause you're drunk. Rappers and reggae DJs, deadbeat black daddy punks, giving moms hassles. You claim you be ballin'. Children wearing hand-me-downs, looking like buckwheat falling. So hungry on fingernails they gnawing, so tired no yawning. Doesn't need to cry, that's how the stomach's ballin'. You owe child support, won't answer when she's calling. Start giving checks, then she can't spend on herself. Have some respect and big up the true fathers and revolutionary dads that died as martyrs. Being themselves, not trying to be Sean Carter's. Being responsible, even if you're not a signed artist. To me, Tech and Steel are still the rawest. Phoenix rise, just like Halle Berry and Swordfish. My MC team leave rappers team scoreless. And hybrid animal clones, pilgrimage to mountains caucus. It's all about inalienable rights, no offers. Manal is the Mississippi, no crossing Atlantic waters. Earthquakes have mountain tops peeking out ocean waters. Sinking Titanics, but most don't learn from losses. Keep getting psychic attacks for shields, you use crosses. Rappers so flaming, please stop dropping roll with voices. Lay rappers out like carpets, or Sifu I self, or Sergeant Mufti pressure point tips to armpits. Open minds like the windows, let my verses shining. My words sound power, can't compare to the minstrel rhyming. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. Rappers are dead, I want conscious whack MC's heads for toys. Truth nail on the head, hit it like Bond on roids. Run like shallow waters, my flow's so deep. Touch the mental ocean floor on a secret society beat. So deep, you're gonna download to upload. Deep like murderer's blade or suicidal cutthroat. So damn deep, don't call me Aswan. I'm deep like the pyramids under Aswan of Kush that they call Sudan. Rappers, verses of course it's fiction. Void contracts, use pen wands to pierce video vixens and haul Masons Princeton. Gavelled at the North Gate by the Roman pseudo-Christians. I'm watching baby boy on cribs showing off their cribs and whips from slaving on the entertainment ships. I'm a slave to the rhythm, slave to the art, not a slave to the masters or their radio charts. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds.
It seems like Willie's still lynching. They provide the rope, you assist with the killing, but y'all don't get it. You're blinded like the horse pulling his chariot. Better yet, you're the horse pulling it. Gun life is easy to predict. Why promote it? First the rise, then reality kicks. You hear the clip, gun goes click. Last second was the last take. Guess karma comes around quick. Cause you shot a brother for the same shit. Over money we all fall thick. When it rains it pours. They call on the Moors, navigate through seas and shores. But that's another issue. Back to these cartoons. Here's another tissue. I'm universal, Hindus call me fish stew. I do this for your children, keep building. Salute!
When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds.
Real MC frauds on the front page mag of double XL with an XS swag that's extra small chunks, and I'm bringing out the dump truck. Many y'all think y'all got wealth, you're so broke. Shot, bust gun, blast heat banging. Some of y'all ain't got it, only fend for the slanging. Rocking your pots, no food for thought lounging. Bling around your neck and fly cars ain't astounding. Save enough money, get your moms out the housing. Save enough loot for all them girls that you browsing. And step up your game, cause this life real serious. My brothers, you the one that they thought was mysterious. Melanated, marvelous, master in the making. They know you original, no sense replacing. Live up the truth through your bloodline ancient, and don't fall victim, some industry be faking.
When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. When it rains, it pours. I'm sorry for y'all. Whack rappers frontin', true MC frauds. Ask the Garvey and the NOI too. How come you don't know about truth? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your seafood. How come you don't know about truth? Go ask your reverend, ask your fam or crew. How come you don't know about truth? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping evil witches brew. How come you don't know about truth? Elijah Poole is the Moorish national. Elijah Muhammad is the straw man shadow. New York after Malachi is owned by the British. Zadok L is on the bureau waiting for the idiots. Mask of gods is Nuwapian's birthright. Teach from Nuwapian Morse paper they wanna fight. Circle 7 is the universal flag. I rep that. And Clarence 13X is my dad. Ali came first to save the mindless masses. Went from Moorish conventions to conscious classes. Went from pheasants to kufis to baseball hats. Went from Rasta to Moorish. Replace El Sad. Replace the RDG banner with a Moroccan flag. Replace Ross with cheap. Black toe tag. Selassie Triple Crown is a fez with no tassel. Showing temple cards as ID with no hassle. Ask the Garvey and the NOI too. How come you don't know about truth? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your seafood. How come you don't know about truth? Go ask your reverend, ask your fam or crew. How come you don't know about truth? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping evil witches brew. How come you don't know about truth? Illuminate rap and masons, rhyming Moorish science, hip-hop renaissance, reverse Earth's global climate. Out the dark ages, many pages get burned without the chance to flip, be read or turn. No learning, blacks enslaved by the vermin. The Moors victim to Inquisition is purging. The government violating the covenant of contract. Hip-hop general Iron Sheik, no squad to bomb track. Moors branded like Louisville slugger bats. With a name not theirs, void ab initio contract. Most don't get it, cause they don't study the law. But they come from the galaxy behind the furthest star. To fight legal battles, they hire the bar. Who obtains leave cause you abandoned your rights thus far. Told you on Iron Sheik 2, no need to represent. Just study the prophet and what he presents. Most don't stand for what he defends. Most elders over their mouth, they need the pens. Higher self ascends, lower he descends. Conscious without a nation means he pretends. She pretends, which means we pretend. Pick up abandoned birthrights and the healing begins. Build on pillars strong like 7 Lord alleged twins. Iron Sheik 100%, most are partly skin. Ask the Garvey and the NOI too. How come you don't know about truth? Ask your teacher, Master Masons, or your seafood. How come you don't know about truth? Go ask your reverend, ask your fam or crew. How come you don't know about truth? Ask the warlocks of rap, sipping evil witches brew. How come you don't know about truth? Islam Moors. Peace and love to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the mothers out there. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. And honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Supreme honors to the Prophet Drew Ali. Honors to Drew Ali. Did what he was supposed to do. So we had some bills. Oh yeah, honors to RVB Publications for a good bill last night, part 2. Because you know, that's just what it is. Whoever was there, you already know what it is. And then we also had Tuesday, a good build with Moors. Moors got in here, gave their perspective, you know. But we were missing, Brother Yusuf. So, you know, let Brother Yusuf get his little piece in there on the Tuesday session. There's a lot more.
Islam Grand Sheik.
Yo.
Islam boy.
I would just yield the floor and you could just kick off with that. Just your perspective.
All right. Islam. Real quick first, because I heard you when you had said honors to the Prophet. You know, we always say that and mean it. You know, but every time, you know, especially when I study in depthly and start looking into this stuff, I always have to really think and sit there and remind myself, yo, honors to the Prophet. Because if it wasn't for the Prophet, lost, I'm talking about no way I would be looking for information the way I look for information. So I have to say honors to the Prophet, because that's the foundation first, and that's where everything is coming from. So Islam to the Prophet. And honors to RV Publications, because that's my teacher, that's my university. That's where it all starts from, RV Publications. So Islam. The other day, the Moors was I was on there with the phone call, and when Moors was calling in, and just called in, just, you know, Moors being Moors, and wanted to, when Brother Omar called in and spoke about Rise of the Moors. So like the Grand Sheik said, I just want to, because I took some notes. You know, I was listening very well, but towards the end, I had to do a couple of things, but I did take a lot of notes. Now, with my thing with the Rise of the Moors, okay, it's now that's the thing, right? That's the first part. When as soon as that's a perspective. This is my perspective, and that's when I'm starting to realize is not the problem, but really is what people are speaking. They're speaking of their perspective on as a Moor, or how you are in your mindset, where you are with this information, how you perceive what the situation is looking like. So this is what my perspective on seeing with the Rise of the Moors. Me being so-called here in Massachusetts, I'm here. The perspective here isn't how, okay, the perspective here for so-called Negro colored blacks, Latinos, so-called, modern Europeans or whatnot, they're not looking at it how Moors are looking at it. Moors, okay, we know Brother Jamal. people on the side who aren't proclaimed Moors and stuff like that, they have no idea about Brother Jamal, the Moors, who those Moors were on the highway, what strategies they were using. You know, they have no idea. Okay, so like me being here, my cousins call me because they seen Moors on the highway, so they automatically think that's me on the highway. So my family is calling me. Now, my cousins, their perspective is it's a group of Moors, and I'm one of the Moors on the highway, right? My cousin is telling everybody that day when the Moors got kidnapped, and look, Moors' perspective, we know that the Moors got kidnapped, did time or whatever. The NCBs, my cousin, those who are into the loop like us, they think those Moors went home that day because that's what Moors teach. We don't get locked up. We beat cases. So in my cousin's mind and everybody else that's here, they think Jamal home. They don't even know that these Moors was kidnapped, was doing jail time. And that's what Moors who are into the knowing and who watch Rami and who, you know, who kept up with the case or whatnot and who is a proclaimed Moor. Yeah, we know the ins and outs of what's going on, but those who are watching on the side, they're not looking at how we looking at it. They're looking at it like, look at the Moors on TV again. The Moors is on the highway with guns. They're not looking at it like, oh, they're wrong. They shouldn't have been over there getting gas. They shouldn't have been. They're not looking at. They don't know that. They don't know Jamal. They don't know they don't know none of that. They don't know none of that. They know the term, the phrase, the rise of the Moors. They barely even know it was a group of people. That's a perspective that the Moors know, who are into the. When we watch the news, I was telling the Green Sheep, when we watch the news regularly, they show us something. We don't go in depthly about what's going on with that thing that they showed us on the news. We just get the news perspective on it, and that's it. But there's somebody, a group of people who know that story in depthly, like we do. We know Brother Jamal. There's somebody who would know that news story in depthly. We got our perspective based off of what the news is saying. That's what I'm saying. These NCBs in their perspective, they don't know, like I keep saying, they don't know the group people, the rise of the Moors. They know the phrase, like the Moors are rising. They're not looking at it like, because that's us. I kept on trying to tell it, the Grand Sheep. We look at it like, oh, Brother Jamal and those Moors. The Latinos, so-called NCBs and all of that, they don't look at that like that. They look at there is a group of Moors, like the Moors are rising. We look at it like, oh, that's Brother Jamal and them from over there. That's not the perspective that the majority see. The majority who are out of knowing about nationality, they see the phrase, the rise of the Moors. And with that phrase too, as well, that's a phrase because look, I was telling the Green Sheep, we know because we read their books that there's other people who are into the loop who wrote books in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s about propaganda, the news saying this, the news, the state is a lie, this, the United States is not who they are, because we read their books. That's where we get the information from. Those people who are into the knowing, when they hear the phrase, the rise of the Moors, remember, they already know that the news is propaganda, that the United States is a corporation. They already know this. So when they hear the term, the rise of the Moors, that's the eating the fish, spitting the bones out. They know it's time for us. Oh, wait a minute. We got to get our stuff together. We not, oh, look at the Moors. See, look at them getting it. That's not what because they remember, they know that those same people, the news, lie, trump up charges. The Massachusetts State Police, because I'm here, the Boston Globe, who is the major news outlet here, says of the Massachusetts State Police in their own newspaper article, said, and I'm quoting Massachusetts State Police, Boston Globe said the Massachusetts State Police needs to go back to delivering pizza like they used to. And then people are using these same, the Massachusetts State Police, but their own is saying that these guys is just a bunch of delivery drivers. Each so-called state police, whatever, gets graded every year. Massachusetts State Police last year got an F. They failed. And Moors are still using these people as, well, you see, they got the Moors looking like this on TV. They failed their own stuff. They failed in their own F. They failed. And Moors using these people as legitimate, who they failed in their own stuff. That we gotta fix that. We can't, because and I notice this a lot. Moors will say, like I just said that, right? And somebody will still try to use, well, they got the Moors on TV. I just told you, propaganda, William T. Steed, they're colonists. I was telling the Grand Sheik, I remember when we used to call in the blog talk, the first thing the mothers used to do was read off every Moor who was kidnapped, where he was kidnapped from, which warden owned that corporation, and everything. Called them colonists, doing business here in Morocco. That's the foundation. That's the foundation. And then now to make it look like, but these Moors were out of. You were supposed to call in and say what place kidnapped these Moors. It shouldn't be. It was never what the Moor did. When we called in the Blog Talk Radio and you listen, they never said what the Moor did. They only told you what colonists kidnapped these Moors. You never heard it. Never heard it. Never heard that. You never heard that. Never. And then now, I don't know what's going on. Now all of a sudden, because of what the colonists have put on TV, we're using that perspective. The mothers never taught that. Because those are our brothers and sisters first. I was telling the Grand Sheik, if my son, anybody in my consanguinity, especially my son, if he's outdoors and he gets into an issue, I'm on my son's side no matter what. But when we go home, if he was wrong, we talk about that behind closed doors. But I'm always on my son's side. We should be, and that's what Moors are supposed to be. We're not supposed to be looking at Jamal in the rest of the rise of the Moors like, you see, no, I don't give a F what they did. That's my brother. I'll F all y'all up for talking about my brother. And then whatever he did wrong, we'll go talk about that with my brother. But you're not going to talk about my brother. That's one of the codes we supposed to learn growing up. That's one of the main things. But now we just let anybody talk about us and try to make it look legitimate that you see what they're saying about Moors. No, the foundation is these are modern European colonists reporting about what Moors did. That's supposed to be like in Brother Abdullah's book, when he talks, or when he used to speak, and he says the European colonizers operating and doing business. He's another one that said the same thing. That's the foundation. You say that first, and then explain the situation. Kidnap the Moors, the rise of the Moors on the highway. With who? The modern European colonists who go by the Massachusetts State Police Corporation, operating and doing business here in Morocco. Who's the head of that? You know what I mean? That's what it's supposed to be. Not, you see how they got the Moors looking? That's the other thing I was telling the Grand Sheik. We looking at it because we part of it now. 200 years from now, when somebody reads about, oh, there was a group of, the Moors were rising. There was a group of Moors who had a standoff with the, if we read something like that now, we would be right in class. Look, Grand Sheik, look, I got it. A group of Moors was standing up to the colonists 200 years ago. Look, right here in America. I told you we was Moors. We would do that. We would do that. But now, oh, you see, they shouldn't have did that. The Moors 200 years from now, nobody's even gonna know Jamal. Like right now, I couldn't name, me personally, I have no idea who them other Moors were on Rise of the Moors. Not saying them Moors ain't important. I'm just saying in 200 years from now, they're not even gonna know who Jamal is. They're just gonna see the phrase, the rise of the Moors. We should be looking at that as we were part of that history. We missing it because we too busy pointing, you see, they shouldn't have did that. They shouldn't have did. This is a historical moment that we're going through right now, and we're missing it. We're missing this is a historical moment. Look, 10 Moors was on the standoff with the Udadas colonists. 10 Moors was on with AKs and weapons. These Moors had, the news showed up and everything. These 10 Moors had the Udadas colonists and their supporters in the palm of their hands. Because if they didn't do nothing to them Moors, that means Moors can do whatever they want. And they could not have that. 10 Moors had the Udadas and the colonists and their supporters. 10. Because if they let them Moors go, it's all over. It's all over. They couldn't let them Moors go. That was the most majorest check move ever, and we're missing it. And they had, if they let Brother Jamal and them go, that's that overnight. Overnight, this would have been over. Overnight, this would have been over. Moors would have saw that on TV. NCB would have saw that on TV. Remember, Brother Jamal was going to a Dominican barbershop. If them so-called Dominicans would have saw that too, come on, man. It would have been over that day. 10 Moors had the Udadas and them colonists in the palm of their hands and told them, yo, you in check right now. You got to do something to get out of check. Them Moors had them, and we missing it. We're missing it. Looking, oh, the Moors, they shouldn't have did that. You think the Moors shouldn't have waited with their guns on the highway? 10 Moors said, yo, y'all in check right now. Y'all move. Y'all move. If y'all don't do something with us and we get to go home scot-free and we show the Moors this on the internet, what you think the Moors going to do? What you think the Moors going to do? Exactly. It looks like we got to go to jail today. Yeah, I know. I know. 10 had the Udadas and their colonists and their supporters in the palm of their hands. A historical moment, and we witnessed it, but because of our mindset, our perspective on how we're looking at things, we missed it. I thought Moors was all about that. I thought when it happened, I thought Moors saw what I saw. That the phrase, the rise of the Moors, and that those who are into the knowing are going to see that. Like all over the world. We're Moors all over the world. This news was all over the world. This is hitting they don't know Jamal in Pakistan, so-called. They saw, but they know more. They know more. They don't know they know that those colonists and those Moors over there is waking up. All of that, oh, they shouldn't have did that. That's us doing that. The rest of, like I said, my cousin, he think Jamal home. Okay? He think Jamal home right now. The perspective out there is not what we think it is, because us as Moors, we're into the loop. But that's not what's going on. Oh yeah, the part about the war, with brother saying that the rise of the Moors and their situation is bringing Moors into a war that they're not prepared for. We've been at war since 1492, knowingly or unknowingly. Just because you didn't know you was at war for hundreds of years, don't try to blame Brother Jamal. You know what I mean? Now, no, 1492, we just woke up a couple of years ago. Our ancestral estate been stolen for a couple hundred years. We've been at war. We've been at war. Been at it. Not because Jamal and what the rise of the Moors did. We talking about 1492. That's we just waking up to, oh, we in the war. Yeah. 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 Your house is stolen from you. Your land is stolen. All of that. You're in the middle of a war, not because of what rise of the Moors did on the highway. That's nothing compared to hundreds of years of what's been going on. No, I'm not gonna just put that on them when we've been going to war since. That's what the treaties are about, the peace treaties, because we've been warring forever. Like, not because Jamal, no. And we're rising the Moors, no. No, that's not true. That's not true. We've been at war. And speaking of being at war, I was thinking about it. Well, who's keeping record of our soldiers who's being kidnapped? Where's the Moorish, the Moorish, you know how these modern Europeans got memorials for their fallen soldiers and stuff? Where's our records of all the Moors who's been kidnapped in the line of duty? Because we at war. We at war. So where's our records of all the Moors who's been kidnapped in the line of duty? Where's their memorials? Where's their so-called congratulations for coming home and making it out of that, kidnapping situation? We don't have none of that for our soldiers. We just, oh, well, what did you do? What the fuck? What you talking about? No, it's not. What you mean, what did he do? This Morocco. No. Who was this colonist that was questioning what he was doing? That's my thing. We should be spending more time exposing who these colonists were that kidnapped and racketeered Moors unconstitutionally, unlawfully, or whatnot. That's what we should be doing every day, pumping it, showing the same highwaymen that kidnapped those Moors. We should have their faces up here every day. Before we start class, we do the meeting, read the letters to be read, and then just start showing them people who was kidnapping Moors. We ain't doing that. We trying to wait to see what Moor did something when the colonists put you on the news and said, oh, the Moors were claiming this. The Moors were no. See, that's what I said in the beginning. This is my perspective as a Moor. I was telling the Grand Sheik. I comprehend. See, that's what Steve Coakley said too. It's the Siddidi revolution. I comprehend people got the, so-called good jobs. They making so-called good money. You got your Moabites, y'all together. Y'all got y'all children. You got your house. You got to pay your bills and all of that. But you still want to, oh, I'm a Moor. This my ancestral estate. Steve Coakley, that's that Siddidi revolution. You don't want to get dirty. Don't nobody, and I'm quoting Steve Coakley. He even brought up the sunshine incident from Harlem Nights. Ain't none of you men, women willing to sleep with somebody so to get the information for the Moors to help us with this, getting our ancestral estate back? And everybody started laughing. Steve Coakley said that's the Siddidi revolution. See, we want to pick and choose. Don't nobody want to get dirty. We scared to die. That's not to transform into energy. That's the problem. They put that fear in us now. Now we scared. Now, oh, I'm not scared. I'm just saying we should have did it different. somebody go get this man a dog, because they scared. They scared. We shouldn't be scared. And it's not, I don't even think they scared to die. I think we're more scared to lose our materialistic things that we hold on dear to, the little bit of things that we have, that we'd rather just capitulate just to keep the little materialistic things that we have, which is not even much. We don't even have nothing. But that little bit we have, we willing to, oh, you think the Moors shouldn't have did that way? Nah, that's the Siddidi revolution. I told the Grand Sheik, this is why I be farming. Because I look at them and I'm like, they don't want to get dirty, Grand Sheik. They don't want to live on their own. They love living the way they live. They like waking up, going to work every day to keep themselves in slavery. They like that. They like that. Don't think they don't. They like that way. They don't want to be happy because of the work you did for yourself and you reaping the benefits. No, they want to be happy for working for somebody else and then making them rich and getting some crumbs off of that. That's not no, that's not Moorish. That's the Siddidi revolution. And I think we got another, that's my perspective. There's Moors with that problem where, I want my nationality and birthright, but I want to do it when I'm wearing my Jordans. And it don't work like that. It ain't going. You want to do it and you still want to go on vacation, you still want to get your nails done and stuff like that. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work like that. It's not going to work. Training, standing up on the highway, having colonists in the palm of your hands, that's doing some work. But we missing that. I don't understand how we missing that. That was big time. A historical moment, Grand Sheik, when them Moors were standing on that highway and had the U.S. colonists in the palm of their hands. Because if you let these Moors who got AKs, guns, and everything just go home, Grand Sheik, historical moment, Grand Sheik, and they missed it. Because they ready to point their fingers to, see, the Moors went to jail. No, the Moors did not go to jail. The Moors was kidnapped and held for ransom. That's what's going on. That's what's going on. The Moors was kidnapped on their own ancestral estate and held for ransom. Because when's the cutoff? You know what I mean? They're bothering Moors no matter what. So, because the Moor had a gun, but they're bothering Moors just for walking down the street. You know what I mean? They're just bothering Moors. So when's the cutoff? It has to be like a cutoff where we're like, okay, you can do that right there and be a Moor. But no, like, that's their right on their own ancestral estate. And if they want to act and do that, let it be. I don't get it. They wasn't harming nobody. They didn't commit. We still waiting for the charge, the crime or whatever that they committed. They didn't do anything. They didn't do anything. People walk around with guns all the time. It's not a big deal. But that's the lower side of it. On the lower scale. On the higher scale, like I said earlier, it's the phrase, the rise of the Moors. I really don't like the explain, what the Moors did or whatever, because that's our perspective. The higher perspective on what the world sees as the majority, they did not see. They still can't tell you, Brother Jamal. It can't only Rami and those who already hated Moors, who were saying, "Oh, we're not Moors. We're this, we're that." Those are the people who are, "Oh, you see, the Moors this, the Moors that." And us Moors, we feed into that. But when I look at my cousin, he, like I said, Jamal's home. You know, my cousin don't know as much as what I know, but he send people to me. As soon as somebody he know got into some problems, he be like, yo, you need to talk to my cousin. And they call me on behalf of your cousin sent me over here, and he don't even know what we know, but he know what he saw on TV. In his mind, in his perspective, those Moors was on that highway, and Moors because now that's my proof right there. He's one of those from the outside who think, oh, I can be a Moor now and I can do whatever I want because of what the news put on TV. He didn't do it like how we looked at it. Oh, the Moors got arrested and Jamal was wrong, and my cousin didn't do that. He literally took that as we can do whatever we want now, and he's running with it. But I'm confused because I'm like, I listen to class, Moors is talking this way, and then my cousin who's not nowhere near none of this stuff, he happy. He cheering for the Moors right now, like, yeah. Like, he's going, but to see Moors express themselves like, you know, Moors were wrong for doing what they were doing. In my perspective, that's why I keep saying it. What I perceive, I don't think that was what the majority is what was going on. Because I'm, like I keep saying, I'm here. And my mother who does hair, she even tells me about her clients whose sons are Moors now, and she was like, I want to give them your number, but I know you don't want to talk to nobody no more and stuff like, because it was too much selling out, so I had to yield Grand Sheik for a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, I had to yield for a little bit, but it's a lot of Moors here because of what they saw on that news, who were NCB, who are now Moors now. Not because of what Todd said, not because of what nobody, because of what they saw on TV. Mm-hmm. They are now being active as Moors here where I'm at. And it wasn't, I had Grand Sheik, I had you come up here. I had the lecture. It wasn't more than 10, 15 people there. They going, there's a lot of Moors now here, a lot of them, because of what they saw on TV. And I'm here, you know. That's the part that's really, you know, intriguing to like they got kidnapped here, and the people who were unconscious here, when they saw that on TV, that made them want to proclaim their nationality. It didn't deter them. It didn't work. What they thought was gonna work, then it backfired. Totally. What it worked on was the Moors who knew. Maybe some of those Moors started turning in their turban and fezzes because, and it was some Moors who did that actually, who started falling behind because of what they saw on, and that, but they got new recruits. You know, we got more people to proclaim that.
We got new recruits too.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I think that's the important part of it is that same thing of, you know, what Garvey was saying with self-determination and all that.
Yeah.
And canonizing your saints. You're not giving props to somebody before your own. You know what I mean? You can't give props to somebody before your own.
No. And I'm glad you brought up Garvey, because Marcus Garvey was one of the first people for our people who was putting our people as generals in head positions of power, you know, for the UNIA. He was calling, before Marcus Garvey, there wasn't no Negro, colored, black people in position of power. Only way you could be in position of power is if you was in UNIA. Garvey was appointing people as something top. You other than that, and that was for our own people. There, like Steve Coakley said, there's never been an organization of our own like Marcus Garvey to put people in position of power. Never, never, never. And that's why I said, who's keeping our records of anything, anything that's Moorish, anything? Who's telling our story? Who's gonna tell the un-William T. Steed story of the rise of the Moors and how the group, the rise of the Moors, like I was saying, had the UWS in the palm of their hands? Who's gonna write this story? Nobody's telling our side of the story. The colonists got their side of the story, but ain't nobody telling our side of the story. We just regurgitating what the colonists said.
Islam to that part. You could write this one down. Charles Eric Lincoln. Islam to the Moors that study and have libraries and they read. The Black Muslims in America. Charles Eric Lincoln. Charles Eric Lincoln. It's very interesting. Again, the more influential Black nationalist movements also seized upon varying interests as focal points for group identification or as vehicles of counter-aggression against the white majority. One favorite focus is religion. Another is political or politico-economic goals. The former has no immediate concern with a nation, with a national state. The latter makes the creation of a state central to its appeal. These two emphases are perhaps best represented in the Moorish Science Temple of America of Noble Drew Ali and the Universal Negro Improvement Association of Marcus Garvey, both of which flourished about the time of World War I. The Moorish Science movement was essentially religious. Garvey's UNIA was primarily political. The raison d'etre of both was to devise some means of escaping the implications of being Black in a white-dominated society. The Moorish Science movement was essentially religious. Garvey's UNIA was primarily political. But then when you go to UNIA, they got hymns and all that type of stuff and whatever like that, which is religious. And then when you go to Moorish Science Temple, he's talking about nationality and national flag and national constitution, and which would mean that that's national. So that was part of our issues of having our story told by someone else, going back to where's our records? There are records, and honors to rvbaypublications.com for making us have our records. Honors to khalifamedia.com for make sure we have our records. Our records that Moors present. sevenhillstar.com with the astrological records, having our records, because we know that the Moorish Science movement is the primarily political, and the UNIA is actually the religious in what they're talking about and what he's talking about. But recognize that the two emphasis perhaps best represented this amongst the Black whoever's that are claiming that they know something about themselves. The Moorish Science Temple movement and UNIA was the prophet and the forerunner. which is them after Drew Ali proving the prophecy. Now, yeah, they were actually forerunner and prophet. Noble Jews sought a psychic escape by changing their names and the symbols of their culture. His Moors hoped to change their social fortunes. For Garvey, the logical solution was to remove all American blacks to an independent African state. Now, we already know that failed with Liberia. That failed with Shashamani. Because you're bound to the continent by heritage. And there's no political asylum for you in any other country but your own. Which is when they talk about, by changing the names and symbols of their culture, his Moors hope to change their social fortunes. And Drew Ali already told the Moors that this ain't about money, clothes, and all that. By changing their names and symbols, they actually invoked that independent state that they're trying to apply to Garvey, which by that time, they're about to wipe their hands clean of Garvey. They already saw where he was going, but they already knew that, catering to the Negro is tough. What we got to do is send in our agent. Drew had a substantial following, and Garvey's supporters numbered in the millions. What's substantial to Garvey's numbering in the millions? If Garvey had millions of members, how much did Noble Drew Ali have? If his numbers were subsequential or substantial, if he had substantial numbers, in the millions Garvey had, how much did Drew Ali have? Was it really only what they say? There's a lot more. I don't know if you have anything to add in. Oh, you dropped off. I didn't notice. Peace more.
Islam.
Yeah, I don't know if you have anything to drop in after that. There's a little bit more in this.
No, it's interesting because when I was studying in I forgot the name of the book. Man, I forgot the name of the book. Okay, but I can tell you about the book. The book is about women in the early 1900s with different women organizations. And one of the chapters, it was about Moorish girls. And I thought the chapter was going to be about Moorish girls in like Hindustan or something like that. They was talking about Moorish women from the Moorish Science Temple. And I was like, Dad, where's this book? Because the title is misleading. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think they would have something in it talking about Moorish Science Temple girls or whatever. But so I'm reading it, and it started talking about how the women in the Moorish Science Temple who were working in God, what type of job it was? No, a catering service. They were their own catering service, and the prophet was teaching to, like, okay, he didn't say not to go do business with other people, but he promoted to only do business inside the temple. Do business with only Moors. This was the book was saying. And for what you just said at the end there, when you said, oh, well, how much did he really? We don't know how much, well, how much did he really have? Well, when it sounds like, he's dealing with his own, we would never know that because he's not using U.S. You know what I mean? He's keeping it with the Moorish side. He's not U.S. side keeping his notes calculated. It's
or the records.
right. It will be in the what he was starting in the Moorish treasury records or whatever. You know what I mean? That's what would it. We would have to look for that to find. But they destroyed all of that.
Yeah.
And if you really, you just start looking at people who got the walk-in mausoleums back then at that time, and you'd be like, well, where did he get the notes for that? Exactly.
Yeah.
You get walk-in mausoleums and stuff like that. Even in that book, that you eat the fish, spit the bones out, The Princess and the Prophet, when he starts talking about Oscar the Priest, and I would say like what, bootleggers who were donating to the Noble Drew Ali and the Prophet and the Moorish Science Temple. Those that's not recorded.
Yeah.
Who they will call bootleggers, and a bootlegger is just something that the U.S. can't count, which again is back to colonize. You're calling Moors doing business on their ancestral estate, and because it's not recorded with the U.S., now you're working under the table and you're bootlegging.
Yeah, that was just like the Moors are domestic terrorists.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And it's to cause terror. A terrorist is someone who causes terror. These people have stolen our ancestral estate.
Murdered for it. And
we're talking about Rise of the Moors was just standing there on the highway. Just standing there. For hundreds of years, these people have caused terror. Hundreds of years, still right now to this second. Right now. They probably bomb something else right now. Right now, probably kidnap some Moor who was going to pick up his child from school, but because his license is suspended and everything, he kidnap, causing terror. All he was doing was going to pick up his child, but he can't go pick up his child because he don't got no license. Great, that's terror. That's you put fear in this man to go pick his child up because he ain't got no license. That's terror. He can't make a ways of living now because he don't got corporate. They talk about paper terrorism. Let you not have no license. Paper terrorism.
Let you park somewhere you're not supposed to park over there.
Yeah, let you not pay your taxes. Terror. Yeah. Paper terrorism. We talking about paper terrorists. These people have. They are the best paper terrorists ever. Yeah. They rewrote us out of history. Paper terrorism. They call you Negro, color, black on paper. Paper terrorism. When you go get a job, they're the best paper terrorists. Nobody's better than them. Gonna call Moors paper terrorists. But nobody says. But like you keep saying, Grand Sheik, don't nobody say nothing to them when they do paper terrorism. They don't say a word to them.
No.
They don't say a word. They not only do they not challenge it, they fill the damn form out the way they know. They're not supposed to fill it out. They fill it out that way. They fill it out. I'm black. I'm Smith Jones Johnson. And no, they ain't not supposed to put that. They gonna put it. And they're not gonna challenge it. We're gonna call Moors paper terrorists because we challenging it.
Yep. Again, going back to Drew
birth
Ali.
certificate, paper terrorism.
Yep. All of it.
Social security card, paper terrorism, all of that.
All of it. All of it.
That's why I be sitting there. I'm like, how? I don't even, because I be wanting to type it, but because it takes too long to type and somebody been on change the subject, I wouldn't. But I've been wanting to say that when they be talking about Moorish calling us, I'm like, these foreign colonists they stole our birthright by doing paper terrorism.
Yeah.
Now you running around here calling yourself Negro, Black, and Colored due to paper terrorism. That comes from French Black Bonaire, Frederick Blumenbach, who William T. Steves promoted it out through publications, the newspapers. That's all paper terrorism.
Yep. Morris said in the chat, give them your Morris title and they put it in the straw. Paper terrorism.
Paper terrorism. Exactly. Exactly. Exactly, man. Exactly, Lord. Exactly. But nobody's questioning that. Nobody's questioning that.
Yeah, they get the pass.
They get the pass. Now they're gonna have to re-strategize that now, because I know they're listening and they're gonna be like, damn, they got us with that one. Yeah. Yeah. You guys are the paper terrorists.
Yeah. It's really them. They've been the paper terrorists.
Bend the paper. Any paper they try to make you sign, I don't care what it is, any paper they give you is a form of paper terrorism on there. Any paper that these foreigners give you to fill out is a form of paper terrorism.
Mm-hmm.
Any form.
Yeah. In pursuing this goal, Drew Ali did not allow himself to be troubled by the inconveniences of history. He simply decreed that henceforth American blacks were to be known as Asiatics. He became obsessed with the ideal that salvation of the Negro people lay in the discovery by them of their national origin, i.e., they must know whence they came and refuse longer to be called Negroes, Black folk, colored people, or Ethiopians. They must henceforth call themselves Asiatics, to use the generic term, or more specifically, Moors or Moorish Americans. To document this ethnic transformation, he issued nationality and identity cards. He issued nationality and identity cards to his followers. Each card bore the Islamic symbol, the star and crescent, an image of clasped hands, and a numeral 7 in a circle. It announced that the bearer honored all divine prophets, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, and Confucius, and pronounced upon him the blessings of the God of our Father Allah. The card identified him as a Muslim under the divine laws of the Holy Quran of Mecca, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and concluded with the assurance, I am a citizen of the United States. Each card was validated by the subscription, Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet. So the ideal salvation for the Negro is them getting back to their national origin. Then once they get back to their national origin, stop calling themselves Negro, Black folks, colored people, or Ethiopians. Then they attach themselves to the human family. They have ID card to prove that, which they were given for their salvation. And the card has the symbols of the ancient foremothers and forefathers on it, which are ancient. So nobody can say that this is not some old thing. This is a continuation. This is us being ourselves. This is us returning as ancients, honoring all of the divine prophets. And unity, salvation, Allah is what we're a citizen of, because there is no United States during time with no Juali. Because that was the United States of America, Republic. And they knew what was up. And as usual, to slow down the ethnic transformation that was happening in the millions, because go read Philosophies and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, and it shows you that once they got him out the way and trumped up the charges on him, all those people who were part of that, were supposed to hear what he said with those letters from prison, where he told them to go claim their nationality.
Garvey was surrounded by sellouts, just like Noble Drew Ali was surrounded.
And in Chicago, the vendor ran the article. With Drew Ali and him meeting, and Drew Ali having Quran and Garvey's mentioned as the forerunner and all that.
Islam, Green Sheet.
Why would people who are following the forerunner keep following the forerunner if the forerunner is following the prophet? Does it make sense to you? The people who are following the forerunner should be following the prophet if the forerunner is following the prophet. The forerunner did his work and his time was done. And everything was over.
Green Sheet.
Always your own. Drew's movement
Can you hear me?
spread westward from New Jersey to Pittsburgh, Detroit, Chicago, and there were temples in a number of cities across the South. In Chicago, the movement rapidly gained momentum and soon became a problem for law enforcement officials. Remember the Moore said earlier, have we been in war with these people? Why is there a problem with them? And then if there's a problem with them since back then, you really think they don't know what's up? You really think they don't know the real public enemy number one is fear of a Moorish planet? The members of the the members of the culture felt an exaggerated sense of security and importance in their new Asiatic status, symbolized by the red fezzes, which the male members were required to wear at all times. But this sudden metamorphosis was not accepted by the whites, who saw no reason to relinquish their traditional racial prerogatives. The Moors' confidence, however, was not diminished. They were certain that the whites or Europeans were soon to be destroyed and that the Asiatics would soon be in control. The cult members of the culture, believed that the imminent destruction of the whites was signified by the appearance in the sky of a star within a crescent moon. As the racial, and then you could also see where a lot of the going back to the records thing, a lot of the historical narrative that they're talking about is from the FBI papers. When you read these people's books and they're talking about Moors, then they say, oh yeah, well, I was talking with Brother Jeffrey Bay, who was part of Moorish Science Temple of America 1875, and he said that, you're not getting that. Where are they getting this stuff from? You know, destruction of whites and all that stuff in Noble Drew Ali's literature? Nowhere is that there. Nowhere. Everybody gets identified by nationality in Noble Drew Ali's literature. You know, black, white, and all that. Right? As the racial irritations cued by the Moors' aggressive behavior grew worse, Noble Drew Ali issued a warning to his followers to exercise more restraint. They were cautioned to stop flashing their cards before Europeans and to avoid making agitating speeches on their jobs. We did not come to cause confusion, the Prophet observed. Our work is to uplift the nation. Despite Drew's sincerity and simple idealism, the Moorish Science movement eventually addressed itself to some new directions not anticipated in its founding philosophy. As its characteristic of massed monuments, its growth and expansion began to attract better educated but less dedicated individuals who saw it as an irresistible opportunity for private gain and exploitation. That the same thing that's going on right now? You see that this whole thing is something that they have orchestrated, that is a loop that keeps happening over and over. And it's only happening because the people actually don't know the truth about their nationality and birthrights. They only pretend that they do. Or they think wearing a fez means that they do. Or they have this card and that means that they do. Or they have these papers and that means that they do. But they haven't studied a lick. Zero. They haven't studied. So they become these individuals who, remember, attract better educated, and Drew Ali said new Moors are going to come with eyes wide open or whatever like that. So eyes are wide open. But opposed to them learning from dedicated Moors who have been in this, they go to any Tom, Dick, or Harry. And these individuals who saw the irresistible opportunity for private gain and exploitation, but not realizing that they're doing that to their own. This is again going back to the importance of Moors who are active, Moors who are putting a stamp in the history for the Moors. The Moors who are on TV and the Moors who you might never even heard of before. Like Brother Yusuf said, in 200 years, when somebody pulls up something researching Moors and they find out about whatever, they find a book, they find a flyer, they find anything. And they're empowered by that. Same way that Moors be doing research right now, finding stuff and losing themselves because they found something. Right? Peace, more.
Islam. It was so much you said, Grand Sheik, and I was over here. I couldn't say anything.
Well, I'm not hearing you.
Yo, why does it keep doing that?
I don't know what's going on. I'm seeing your little thing moving, but No sound.
Can you hear me?
Push the link again. Yeah, you're not hearing you. I don't know what's going on. Push the link again.
Nothing?
I'm gonna take you out.
Nothing?
I don't know what's going on with that. Yes. Yeah, y'all can hear him. That's weird. Let's try again. Peace, brother Yusuf. Peace,
Can you
one.
hear me? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. You can still hear me?
Yeah, you're good, more.
Yo, man, I was saying so much, man. I thought I know he can't hear me because I was
That's
like, all right,
crazy.
grand sheet, and you just kept talking. I said, no, he can't hear me no more. I've been muted for a long time. A long time. Can
Yeah,
you still hear me?
yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you more.
Oh, okay. No,
Yeah.
I was just I wanted to ask because you had spoke about Marcus Garvey in the newspaper article with him and Nobuju Ali. Um, was when you found the article, or whoever found the article, was that article ever mentioned in any books, or it was just they found the article?
Yeah, I think it was the article because there was the postcard. There was the postcard that um, Drew Ali sent to Pearl, and then there was the article because people were saying that the postcard was fake. They were
And
saying
then there's the newspaper article.
Moore's doctored the postcard to try to show a connection between Garvey and whatever, and then Moore's found the article on it.
Now, what do you know the year on that?
It was 27 or 28.
Oh, okay. Because I like reading the philosophies and opinions of Garvey, the letters he was writing
Yeah.
when you can tell when the prophet came and met him, and like how his tone switched up and he
Yeah, it's a
started talking
different
about
thing. That's why
yeah,
they gotta read the that's why they gotta read the letters.
right.
Because the letters is what, like, yeah, he had, articles and whatever else. But the from prison letters is just like the from Hajj letters. The letters of Malik El Shabazz
Oh
from over
yeah.
there.
The whole different. Yep.
You know what I mean? It's a whole different thing. You know?
Because when I read and it just seems like they didn't even read anything that Marcus Garvey. They just Marcus Garvey in the flag and black this. That they don't use none of the principles that he taught. Nothing. None of it.
No.
Because when you read with Marcus Garvey in his letters, he was talking about Moorish all the time.
Yeah.
There was a chapter in the book I got. It's not the philosophies and opinions. I told you that it's a different book,
Mm.
and they was showing the letters from jail in there, and it's all linked up in the years and everything. And it's one chapter. It's called "What is a Negro?" Through the whole chapter, he's talking about the Moors. This Garvey in a
Yeah.
letter from jail. The whole chapter. I was like, yo, look, Garvey knew exactly what a Moor was,
Yeah.
and I was wondering. I'm like, this had to be around the time when Nobuju Ali came and saw him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because he started talking about Moorish history, how the Moors helped them help the United States, and help Britain, help conquer whatever, and the Moors help y'all do this and this. But the Negro, when he's looked at as something that's belittled and stuff like that, he's called a Negro. But when he does something of high stature, he's a Moor. I say, look at Garvey. Look at Garvey. Look at Garvey. Look at Garvey. I said, even Garvey knew the difference between, there's a status difference here, but he knew that those are both so-called Negroes. Like, they're the both same person.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference between a Moor and a Negro. They're the same person. But it's the one who knows who he is.
Exactly. And you have to know. You have to know who he is.
And a lot of them. Okay, did a lot of UNIA members go to the Moorish Science Temple? Like, did they?
No, because remember, once they got Prophet out the way, right after they got Garvey out the way.
Oh yeah, because they was on the scene together.
Yeah,
they was on the scene together.
It turned into the, well, why would we go them? Look, they don't even have their stuff together type of thing. Just how people are looking at it today.
Now, do you know if because okay, when I checked the record, now I don't know how this went, right? Because they like to hide stuff. When you check who was the owner of Unity Hall during the time the Prophet was using Unity Hall, they'll tell you Oscar the Priest was renting Unity Hall out. And then I'm like, oh, I thought, I'm thinking, that's where the Prophet was at. That's the headquarters, is Unity Hall. Why wouldn't it be in the Prophet's title? That was my first question. And then I'm like, but Oscar the Priest, who was the first, what was it, senator, I guess? Congressman. And I just thought, but that question, and I was trying to find, or if anybody knew, if Garvey ever spoke at Unity Hall.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because when I looked at it, Oscar the Priest had many speakers come and speak at Unity Hall. And I was like, during the time the Prophet was there, and it was like, yep, and I was like, that's weird. Like, during 1926, it was some such and such speaker Oscar the Priest had there, and I'm like, how could that be if Noble Drew Ali was there at the time?
Yeah. But again, too, the whole thing with once they say that they're part of the Moorish nation, now everything that they have belongs to the Moorish nation. So Oscar the Priest saying, okay, I'm gonna be at a convention, and I'm gonna pose for pictures with Noble Drew Ali and all that, means he was in support of it.
Yo, and you know what? Why would I rent the place and let you be the guy? This my spot, but I'm gonna let you come in here and you're the Prophet. Like, that alone lets me know how much they knew that Noble Drew Ali was right. Because nowadays, ain't nobody letting you. I rent this spot, and now you about to come in here and you run it. No,
you run it. You doing your stuff, but
you
again,
doing your stuff. Oh, Oscar the Priest was a guest in that picture in his own spot.
Yeah, but that goes back to the same thing with anybody who, because remember, it was talking about earlier, in the earlier part of the book, it was talking about um, the educated people that were getting involved.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Not all of them were traders.
Yeah, okay.
Some of them were actually good people that they had some bank.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you brought me my nationality and birthrights. Anything I have is yours. I don't care what I got. You need access to whatever, change the sign, do whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. You're the prophet. That's why I always go back to the oral literature when they talk about the European came up and went, hey, where's Noble Drew Ali and all that stuff? Because this man saved me finance. This man said the stuff was gonna crash and it crashed. And I took my money out the bank because he said so. Where's he at? Oh, he's not with us anymore. What the hell you mean he's not with you anymore? I just came yesterday. What do you mean?
European broke down on his
European.
knees, crying.
European broke down crying because Noble Drew Ali transitioned. He got murdered.
He probably broke down crying in front of one of the murderers.
Yeah, to imagine that. Well, yeah, we got a question in the chat. Anybody got any questions? Actually, put the link in the thing if you need to push the link. You got something to, if you got something to ask or you heard something, you can push the link. Question. I know that we are colonized, but I still want to ask the question. What are our thoughts on this abortion stuff the law merchant is trying to implement? Go ahead, Moore.
Okay.
Yeah, somebody said it in the chat. Genocide.
Yeah, right. But see, okay. After I helped my uncle out, right? Because he always watches the news. I overheard it about the abortion thing. Sorry, about the abortion thing. And my first thing was they've been doing abortion since colonization, since the eliminating of Moors, since the changing of switching us from Moors to Negro, black, and color. That's the abortion. I'm like, this ain't new. The abortion
the witch burning. That's abortion.
Yeah, exactly. Like we've been going through abortions for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? And now it's an effect because why? Modern Europeans is feeling it. Now it's affecting their children. And now it's brought out into the forefront. But Moors, we've been dealing with, like you said, I know we're being colonized. That's the abortion. That's abortion. That's not colonization, is abortion. That's what it. That's I know we've been aborted. I know we've been aborted. But what about the Europeans now in abortion? That's what I heard. When the question, like, because we've been going through that for a long time. For hundreds of years, we've been going through that. But we look, okay, it's the truth though. At least at least the child, we're alive and have to go through this. At least the child got a chance to go back to the realms. You know what I mean? Like we gotta stay here and go through this. Which like, hey, we're aborted and living it. Abortion living people. That's what we are. We were aborted and lived it. That's the truth. That's what's going on. We're living that abortion. That's what's going on. the being labeled, stained, Negro, black, and colored, our ancestral estate. It's nothing worse than that, man. It's nothing worse than that. Then every day you walk around, and I'm like, these people really think that we're slaves from Africa? Oh, hell no. Like that, at the end of the day, that's what they think about us. That's abortion. We don't know who we are. We don't know who we came from. There's nothing worse than that. I got this shirt with Marcus Garvey. One of his famous lines was a people who don't know their past is like a tree without roots.
Mm.
Like you don't know where you came from. you have no idea. Like that tree, you ain't about to survive, man. That tree ain't about to live without those roots. You ain't got no foundation. That's why how I looked at the question.
Islam.
Islam, Grand Sheik.
And I echo the sentiments. Because unless it's some vile stuff that happened, and it's her body, so her choice. But the choice should never be get rid of or whatever. But if that's the choice, what are you gonna do? People are entitled to their whatever they're gonna do. They got to do it, whatever decisions they make. The will is that you make the right decision. But whatever decision you make, you're gonna have to live with it, regardless what it is. Whether it's abortion, whether it's turn left when you should have went right, whatever decision is, you're gonna have to live with that. Whatever the decision is, you do what they want. Because like Moore's like said, well, it's my birthright. So because my birthright, I could. All right. Just know that that's a serious claim. So you better know what you're doing when you talk about exercise your right. Whatever that right is. Because like you said, first thing you said off the top, I know that we're under colonization. So once you know it's colonized, you already know. You already know that the tactics are not going to be some bed of roses stuff.
Nope, definitely not going to be in your favor.
You already know the odds against you if it's colonization. You already know. Because like Moore said earlier, if we let these Moors on the highway go, we're going to have serious problems.
Serious problems, Green Sheik. Green Sheik, if they would have showed them more, my eyes would have never have seen something such. About, could you imagine that? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Could you just imagine that? Could you imagine that? Come on. Come on. We'll be having parades. It would have been, and it's still that. It's still that. It's still that. I even like it better. I even like it better the way it turned out. I even liked it better. That would have been too easy. I'm like, that's too easy. That was too easy. We didn't even have to shoot nothing. We just showed up. That would have been too easy. That would have been too easy. I'd have been like, I mean, He said it would have been in the word, not told in words, but that was just easy. Yeah. No, it could, that would have shocked me if it had ended like that. But that's why I like the way it ended. It's very historical. It's very historic. It's a historical moment, and I was alive to witness it.
Yeah.
I was alive to witness it, and I remember you was talking about it too, about keeping record, and and we're reading the FBI records, or they only report what the FBI recorded about the Moors and everything. Again, that goes back to, man, there's probably so many stories that Moors did that we don't even know about. That they
Don't
not
even know.
exactly.
No
You know
clue.
what I mean?
No clue. No clue.
Like I want to know. Oh, I want to know what made the prophet say, "Y'all stop flashing y'all cards," and like what was y'all Moors saying? Like I want to know. Like I know y'all knew some constitutional stuff. They started knowing law, and I want to know what they were saying for the prophet to come back and be like, "Yo, y'all gotta calm down." I know y'all right, but listen, y'all gotta calm down. You know what I mean? Like he didn't say y'all were wrong. He said, "Stop. You gotta chill out doing it."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he didn't say, "Oh, you guys are spreading lies and propaganda." He didn't say that.
Yeah.
He know you causing agitated speeches. Hell yeah, you causing agitated speeches. You calling this European who yesterday he was just good old American. You're calling him foreigner now.
Yeah.
And y'all been working together for the last 10, 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now you coming to work like Brother Yusuf, calling everybody European.
Your fez on at work. What is this? You're supposed to have fedora on. Like you're not. You're getting fez from turbans and all of this stuff.
Exactly.
What is this? Going hard with it. You were mad.
And for the prophet, yeah, that's what I would love. I want to know those stories. I want to. Them stories is not around. I want to know whose modern European grandfather got their feelings hurt because some more
Because
was
Billy
just
Bob proclaimed his nationality.
Yep.
Billy Bob said, "Forget that BS. I'm not black or colored. You're not playing that BS anymore."
And these was paper. You're showing up with a paper card,
Paper
standing on your birthright. Paper, handwritten, standing on it.
Standing
on it. Nobody's telling me these stories. I need to hear these stories, man. I want to hear these stories. I want one of them Moors tell me, man, you Moors got it easy now. Y'all got the internet, all of that. We had to stay at the light. I want to hear that. I love hearing that. I love hearing those stories.
We had to take the 14-hour bus ride.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to know. I would love to know that more, or any witnesses who was around the prophet when he was studying, when he was learning, when he was performing his doctor duties or whatnot. His herb people. I want to know. Step by step. What did he do? I want to know that. They got it for everything else now. We get that for you. Just Google it. Recipe for this. How many oreganos of this you need for this? Boom.
Yeah.
Where's the records for I want to see that stuff. Those is my favorite. I want to see that. They got rid of all of that.
Couldn't have that freaking around. That would be nuts.
The prophet told you he had a secretary, all of that. They had it. They was keeping records. Where's those records? I would like to see those records.
Yeah.
All of that stuff, even the pictures we see. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to. Where's those banners go? Those banners, that flag that's behind where's that at? Where's those chairs? That desk? You know what I mean? That those decorative silks that's coming across the desk and stuff like that. Who designed that? Where y'all get that from? I be having all types of questions.
All that. Yeah. All that.
all of that. Was it Moors and y'all was growing your own cotton, putting that together, and y'all had your own embroidery and all of that? I want to know who was sewing, who was doing this, and is though like my aunt transitioned years ago. All her recipes are still here. I'm like, so that's easy. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
keep record. I just go right in there and get Auntie's cookbook. Auntie wrote down everything, how to cook everything, and she not even here no more. I
Yeah.
know Moore's got those types of records. Like I would, when what was I reading that the Noble Jew, or I think you was reading something one day when you were saying that Noble Jew used to have meetings, but it would be short meetings and stuff like that. I would like to know how short was those meetings? When was they scheduled? Why was they scheduled? What was they talking about in them short meetings or something like that? Like we don't know that.
It's,
Yeah, I thought we was building Grand Sheik. God.
huh?
I forgot we was doing class.
What the hell?
Yeah,
Oh shit. Those are the best ones.
yeah, those are the best ones. I looked down, I said, "Oh, we in class." I forgot that fact because you know that's how we talk, Ranchi. That's regular.
Yeah, that's what it is. Just
That's what
normal.
it is.
Yeah. It's just normal. You said love to all the wars. Study, study, study.
It's not.
Study, study, study. I'm going to send you somebody's number, Brother Yusuf.
All right.
Study, study, study. Make sure, Morris, that you're studying. Honors. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to you, Brother Yusuf.
Islam, Ranchi.
Oh yeah, and
Get
honors to all the Moorish children who are studying too.
Oh
And
yeah.
shutting down all these Europeans,
Yep.
shutting them down in their own institution.
Yep. Yep.
Don't let them play you like you're dumb. Shutting
But
them down.
Lil Yusuf is doing very he's killing them right now. Killing them.
Yeah.
Killing them. He's doing very well. He just got okay, so he has math masters awards for all 4 marking periods or whatever. So there what it was like a gathering because it's never been done for somebody to get all 4 math masters awards and all 4 marking periods. Like other students could have got them, but my son got all of them every marking period. So now it's like they had this big honoring thing for him yesterday or whatever. But my little youth, he just want to go home. You know, he's too much. You know, this colonization stuff. That's his mindset. You know what I mean? He's not looking at it. You know, like, oh, this is an award thing. Remember, I told you before they wanted him to participate in this award winning essay, and he gave it to somebody else. He said if he didn't have to do it, he didn't want to do it. So they
Yeah.
gave it to the second place because he don't want to do it. He don't
Yeah.
be, but he's the best. But he don't like the whole look at me, I
Yeah.
get the award stuff. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But if it comes from our people, you know what I mean? He honors his uh Moorish award that he got from Canaanland Moorish. He loves that. He loves that.
Yeah.
Loves that. He loves that because you know, it's my son. He only gonna hold dear to what his parents love, and that's
Right.
how it's supposed to be. He
Straight.
sees that his father loves that, so he's gonna honor that to the core. Like, yeah, I'm a Moor. All that other stuff is, yeah, I know it, but I wish he's looking at me like you know, he wants to do the Moorish stuff. You know, why do I have to learn the colonization? And that's putting that burden back on me.
Yeah.
But he's smashing them. Schmack. I'm used to it now. I'm it's bad too. Like his mother said, he came in the house the other day. He said, "You want to see my report card?" I don't want to see that report card. I want to see that room being clean. Like you've never heard that, because he already know, and he's trying to get away with that too. Like, oh, can I get picked up from school today early because since I always get straight A's? It's like, well, you got a good argument there, boy. Since I always get straight A's, can I please get picked up from school today early? Oh,
Please.
please. His mother falls. Well, that was a good argument. I'll be there at 12 o'clock. He went right over there and got him. Amazing. He's he's just good, and that's all birthright though. I'm telling you, that's all nationality and birthright. Because it could have went the other way, especially where his father was acting. My son could have been a totally different person if I wasn't, the foundation wasn't the prophet, Harvey Bay Publications, Canaanland, Moorish, etc. My son, I have no idea. He probably be an evil genius because he's still smart. Can't take that from him. But it's just what is he going to use it towards?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. The limits are limitless. Freaking limitless.
His teacher, he said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Calls him by his straw. "What do you want to be when you grow up?" He said, "An architect." She was like, "Yeah, I can see that."
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like an architect. Like, what you know about architect? She was like, "Yeah, I can see that."
Honors to them all. Honors to them all. Stay focused. Stay focused.
Give
Honors to
thanks,
all the
praise be.
Moors worldwide. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace and love, Moors. Islam. Peace, brother Yusuf.
Islam. Give thanks. Islam.
Islam.
Honest to the prophet.